Good morning. So in today's class, let us start the new chapter, Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. You had studied about what are natural resources under chapter in 9th standard. Yes, so this is again in detail we study Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. First, let us understand what are natural resources. So, what do you call as natural resources? The resources which are readily available to the mankind, or the resources which are available in the earth naturally without any processing are known as natural resources. So we can give example as air, soil, water. Now when we talk, forest is also a natural resource, what we can tell. Okay, let us only write these many things first. Air, soil, water, etc. So these are all our natural resources. Now for example, the board what you see here, the chairs, the things around you are also natural resources, but they have arrived or they are made from these resources. That means they are made from processed later, right? There is no procession done over here. It is being done naturally by the earth. So, but the things what we see around us like benches, chair, board, so these are made from the resources. Say these are made from wood, these are made from plastic, so many other sources. That means they are being processed later. But these resources are naturally available in our earth for our mankind, for our utilization, for our benefit and purpose. So those are called as natural resources. Forest also comes under natural resources because we get many resources from the forest. This lesson is all about how do we make use of these resources judiciously and how are we depleting it by our greed and need. So, when we talk about natural resources, we can bifurcate or classify natural resources in terms of exhaustible and non-exhaustible, right? So now what comes under exhaustible resources? The resources which get depleted within few years after particular usage, those will come under exhaustible resources. And what are non-exhaustible? The resources which will not get depleted after regular use also, those will come under non-exhaustible. We studied a bit about exhaustible and non-exhaustible in our previous lesson, sources of energy. There we termed which are exhaustible under non-conventional and conventional. We studied exhaustible as well as non-exhaustible. Let us still write here. Now which comes in exhaustible? The first is fossil fuel. Right? So which are the different fossil fuels? Coal, petroleum, gases, all comes under exhaustible resources. Now what comes under non-exhaustible resources? Solar energy, then hydropower plant or wind energy, then geothermal, then what you can say is actually nuclear energy will also come under non-exhaustible because it is actually exhaustible, but we still consider that under non-exhaustible because the use of nuclear or the nuclear material is very less compared to others. So we still term that under non-exhaustible only. Then biogas, biomass, all this we studied, right? So these are exhaustible, non-exhaustible. Resources which get depleted after continuous usage are called as exhaustible. Resources which do not get depleted after the continuous usage are known as non-exhaustible. Now the question arises here, why we have to preserve our natural resources? So basically we have to preserve our natural resources because first and foremost they are in limited quantity, right? Now when we talk about fossil fuels, fossil fuel will take millions of years to form, but we are using it in that extent that it will get depleted in few years to come. So basically we have limited resources with us, so that is why we have to use it judiciously. There is a need to preserve these resources. Now that is why fossil fuels are limited. That is why we have come with the latest technology of the resources to use. Right? What we studied under sources of energy, why did we introduce non-conventional sources? Because with the growing population and need, there is a lot of electricity will be utilized. So to generate electricity, fossil fuel is not only one form. right? We have so many others. We have solar, we have then hydro, we have wind, we have geothermal, so many different means we have. That is because resources are limited. We have to go for an alternative type of resources. Second one, store it for a future generation. For a future generation, these resources will not be there for them using. Assume that now you stay in a particular area, you have to go to a shop, right? So you can choose two means there. Either you can go by a walk or you can take your vehicle. The shop is very near. We can just walk and go, but still what we prefer, we go by a two-wheeler, we go by a car. That is because we are utilizing it for our purposes, but still walking is better than that. Why? Because we are saving the petrol. That means nothing but we are saving the fossil fuel. So for future generation, we have to keep the resources. That is why we have to use it judiciously. The next point, these fossil fuels sometimes also cause pollution. Using lot of fossil fuels also creates pollution. Now you know that what type of pollution these fossil fuels will create. We have studied under the previous chapter, right? We will not discuss that about. So why we need to conserve it? Because the resources are limited. We have to store that or keep that for our future generation. Next is they also cause pollution. So see, we start using lot of resources, not only the fossil fuels. Assume that you are cutting down the forest in the sense for wood, for different purposes, for different new technologies, for furnitures, etc. That means we are creating pollution. That is why we have to preserve the natural resources, limit the use of natural resources, like use it, but use it judiciously. So, now under the chapter Sustainable Management of Natural Resources. Now what do you mean by the word, first of all, management of natural resources and sustainable management of natural resources? We will understand these two terms with a definition of sustainable management and management of natural resources. Yes, now let us understand the definition of sustainable development and now it is actually management of natural resources, right? Sustainable development, the development which meets the basic human needs and also preserve the resources for the needs of the future generation is called sustainable development. Now, the word here, see, the development which meets the basic human needs. So, development and human needs, that means we are utilizing it for our development, right? For basic human needs, what we require for our development, for our progress, but also preserve the resources for the needs of the future generation. Now, it is not that we have to completely stop using fossil fuels, stop cutting down the trees, stop making furnitures out of wood and all, etc. No, we are not saying stop everything, abandon everything, but make sure that you use it according to your need only, not according to your greed. Also, preserve the resources. How to preserve the resources? For example, if I am cutting down a tree, it's not that I go and cut a tree. For example, you make furnitures out of it, you spend a lot on that. Make sure that you plant trees, you donate trees, right? That is how you preserve the resources. You are utilizing it here, but in other way, you are actually growing it there. You are again reviving that the forest. The development which meets the basic human needs, what we require, also preserve the resources for the needs of the future generation. That is called as a sustainable development. That means there should be a development also and we have to also sustain with that development, right? Without affecting the future generation, right? That is known as sustainable development. Next, management of natural resources. How do we actually manage the natural resources? It is management of natural resources is a system of controlling the use of natural resources in such a way as to avoid their wastage and use them in the most effective way. The main thing here is it is controlling. One I just underlined, it is controlling the use of natural resources in such a way to avoid their wastage and use them in the most effective way. See, the keywords what I have underlined here tells me that what actually we have to do, we have to use that. But we have to manage in using. How? By controlling the use of natural resources. In which way? Such that to avoid their wastage and use them in the most effective way. So this is about sustainable management of natural resources, what we are actually studying in this chapter. Now there we study in detail about forest and wildlife. Forest is called as a biodiversity. So how we have to use the forest for our development and human needs and store that for our future generation, and how we have to control the use of natural resources and to avoid their wastage. We will understand in this lesson in detail. Now when we talk about to avoid their wastage, we again discuss about here the 5 R's. Now in your book and everywhere they will sometimes give you 3 R's, 4 R's. So we will discuss again the 5 R here, what we have already discussed in our previous chapter. Now let us understand what are the 5 R's here so that we can avoid the wastage and use them judiciously under the control, right? So which are these 5 R's? Reduce, reuse, refuse, recycle and repurpose. We have discussed this in sources of energy chapter, but still once again we will discuss this in this chapter also. So now what do you mean by reduce here? Reducing the use of. Now what use of? We all know about biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, right? So what is biodegradable? Which gets degraded in the earth's crust by the decomposition of certain bacteria. Now what are non-biodegradable waste? Which does not get decomposed. So try to reduce the usage of non-biodegradable substances, or we can say reduce the usage of plastic. We all know what adverse effect it's causing by using of a plastic. We have all discussed about this in the previous class. But reduce the use of plastic. What we can say here? Try using the biodegradable materials itself. Reuse. Now what do you mean by reuse? Reusing it. Now if a particular resource can be used again for a better purpose, if it is a degradable material, please use it. Best example, we all do that. For example, you go to a shop, buy a pickle which is in a glass bottle, right? What do we do once the pickle is over or once the jam is over? Anything in that. We utilize that for storing certain things, grains, sugar, salt, etc. Right? That means what are we doing it? We are reusing it. That's a better sign. Try to reuse the materials as much as possible because the wastage will not be there. Refuse. Now when I talk about refuse, reduce, almost the same thing it comes. Few more points I can add in that. Refuse to all non-biodegradable substances. Refuse to plastic. Say no to plastic. So everywhere, nowadays when you go to a shop, mall or everywhere, the board what you can see there is say no to plastics, right? Carry your own bag. Refuse using a plastic bag. Apart from that, one more point I can add over here is, suppose you want to go commute from one place to another. Refuse sometimes using your vehicle. Try to utilize the public transport, or there are 2-3 people staying nearby. Try to pull in and then go by a same vehicle. Refuse it if you have your own vehicle. Go it by a public transport. What are we doing here? We are saving the, what you can say, we are saving our petrol. Of course, that means if you are saving your petrol, that means you are saving the fossil fuels. Recycle. Recycled materials. Now see again, try to use the degradable material which can be recycled again and again. Plastic cannot be recycled, right? We all know that. The last one, repurpose. Now repurpose is something a new one which is based on the latest new technology. Now you all might have seen some videos. Suppose you have a plastic waste bottle at home, right? So what do you do with that? We just throw it, because if you throw that, we know that it is not a degradable material. So what do we do with that plastic bottle? We cut it, use our innovations in that, try to grow or try small saplings or something in home. We can make a small garden in our house using those plastic bottles, right? Instead of using pots. Otherwise, there are even many techniques nowadays. What are used is plastic bottles. Instead of cement or bricks, plastic bottles are used for compound, to build a compound. Sometimes even a small house, what do you say, a temporary kind of a thing is being built, repurposed with a new technology. All new things are being done with the waste, best out of waste, what we call. We are supposed to throw that. Since it is not degradable also, what best we can do, how best we can utilize it, and so that we can use it. It is for our purpose. So try to follow, not try to follow, actually follow the 5 R's, right? So when we follow this 5 R's, what will happen? We are using the natural resources judiciously, or we can say we are able to, we are sustainable. For sustainable development, we are knowing how to manage the natural resources and we are using it. So this was about the first part of the lesson about the natural resources, what steps we can take to utilize this. Yes. Now next we will start about, now we also discussed water is one of the natural resources. So when we talk about water, we are not talking about water pollution exactly here, but we are talking about the river Ganga, right? We all know that Ganga is the holy river, right? But what has happened to Ganga present now? So it has been polluted. So how it is polluted? So we humans have polluted it. So how we have polluted? By throwing the waste, by throwing flowers and all, by throwing the excreta, sewage things, everything into Ganga. But what has happened here now is government has taken many actions, not only now, right from the 1970 to 1980, government took many actions to clean Ganga. So that is what we call as Ganga Action Plan, right? So what was the main intention in the Ganga Action Plan? To clean Ganga, to clean the holy river Ganga. Now, when they started cleaning this, initially they were successful, but later again it started polluting more. How in the sense? Assume that you are in a small room and somebody is mopping the room, right? So you come with a dirty feet. You start walking with your shoes there. One person is walking and the person who is mopping the floor can mop it very easily because it's only one person who is walking with the dirty shoes, right? Assume there are thousands, hundreds, lakhs of people walking in the room at the same time, and when you are mopping, is it possible to clean? No, because you clean, it is polluted. You clean, it is polluted. That means more than cleaning, the pollution is more. So the same thing happened. So when the Ganga Action Plan was taken they initially started well, but later what happened? The pollution started increasing. Now what type of a pollution is? Now if you want to know how a river or if any water body or anything, any water is contaminated or want to check, we have to always check the presence of a bacteria present in the water. That is nothing but coliform bacteria. Right? Now what is this bacteria? This bacteria actually it is present in the intestine of the human beings or intestine of the animals, what you can say. That means when this bacteria is present in the intestine of an animal and if this bacteria is found in any of the water, that means not only apart from the waste, flowers, etc., even the waste excreta, the things are thrown into the water. That means the coliform bacteria was actually found in Ganga. That means apart from the flowers, temple, any waste. Even coliform bacteria was found, means the human excreta was also thrown or in the Ganga water. That means this was used in washing, cleaning, everything. So what does this coliform bacteria do? This coliform bacteria actually causes several diseases. So people taking a dip in the water, assuming that it's a holy water, they are prone to many diseases. So the only thing why is this we are studying in this chapter? Because how are we polluting the river Ganga? So in spite of the action being taken also to clean Ganga, still it is being polluted. So main thing is about the coliform bacteria which is found. So any water body, if the bacteria is found, it is understood that that water is not safe for anything, because even if the water comes in contact with your body, that means you are prone to many diseases. So this was about the first part of the lesson. So we studied about what are actually natural resources, why we have to preserve it, definition of the management of natural resources and sustainable development. We also understood how we have to actually control the wastage of the resources by 5 R's. Then we also studied about the holy river Ganga action plan, and what bacteria are found in river Ganga, how to take care. So the next part in the lesson is about forest and wildlife. So what is forest and wildlife? What about the natural resources there? How are we depleting it, or how are we using those resources for our purposes? We'll study that in our next class. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set.